My name is Olusegun Olarewaju Adebayo. I'll be presenting to you entrepreneurship. I'll be presenting to you entrepreneurship. The impression we were given in our younger days is that you must finish school and start working somewhere. So we grew up with the idea that people who started their own business are people who could not get a job or employment. And everybody had the impression of working in a business or government. Government is all right, it's everybody's business. But the private sector is also all right, but was funded by some people. And if they didn't start such businesses, you will not have a place to apply. From year to year, youths and individuals all over the world are talking about unemployment. Government is worried about unemployment, and there is no formula that governments all over the world are not applying to solve unemployment problem. Governments cannot provide job. Government can provide policy and environment where businesses will flourish. But the wrong impression we have had is that government must provide job for everybody. Thank God, government woke up to the fact that they knew that there is no way they can provide job for everybody. What it means is to encourage people to start their businesses. And I am impressed that universities and polytechnics nowadays are bracing up to entrepreneurship. It's becoming a major subject that students should do in order to qualify to take a degree or diploma. And I'm also impressed that even some primary schools and secondary schools are starting entrepreneurship. That's the way it should be. I've known for a long time that no matter the amount of your salary, it cannot make you wealthy if you live within your resources. So everybody must have a way of thinking to start a business that will help them make extra income. That is not to say that should affect your job where you work. And if that business you are convinced that can pay your bills, you can take the risk. We have seen people who started businesses all over the world with little or nothing, and they succeeded. Great names. We have them in all the industries, in agriculture, in ICT, in oil and gas, in banking and finance, in education, and name it. And what that means is that there is no magic to starting a business. The only thing is that you must defeat a major enemy in commencement of entrepreneurship. And the major enemy is fear. Fear of how do I start? And if I start, I fail. If I fail, what happens? If you fail, you start again. People fail. In offices, people fail. People fail exam and they start again. How do I raise cash? A huge amount of money may not necessarily make a business a success. You can have the whole world filled up with money and it can be a failure. What can make your business thrive is your creativity. You must be able to ask yourself which area can you excel. Some people know their strengths where they can excel, but you don't want to face the reality of trying to push that your strength to excel. Then it's also comfortable to go to work and be given instruction and carry out the instruction and earn a salary. That is easy. I'm not saying people who are doing that are not working hard enough. They are working very hard. But when you start working somewhere, you can calculate your salary from the beginning to the end. When you start your own business, anything can happen. You can become the richest anywhere. The richest people in the world didn't start with being rich. They started from being poor, but they were pushful. They had an idea of what they want to do. They knew they want to succeed. They knew they want to go into a world that is unpredictable, but they were ready to fight it out. They were not ready to be discouraged. They are not ready to lose confidence. They are not ready to be pushed aside. They are not ready to cut corners. A lot of things will happen when you are going into business, and that will discourage you. And in most cases, those who succeeded failed several times. It cannot be automatic success. And what it means is that young people should know that they should have it behind their mind, and parents should also know that they can make it working for people, or they can make it starting their own businesses. There is nobody without a skill to sell, but sometimes we don't discover the skill. Sometimes you assume you don't have any skill. Some people have lost their own confidence due to nothing that has anything to do with their productivity. People have made them to lose their confidence. People have told them they cannot do it. Even their family members, some of them have discouraged them. Sometimes you see the way people discourage people within a family setup. Even some parents tell their children that they are no good. And if a parent tells his child that it's no good, then what the child feel? So you must encourage each other. And when you are around negative people who feel you cannot do successfully in business, then you have to move to where you have positive people. You have to choose the kind of people who can encourage you. You have to know and study those who have made it, and now they made it honestly. That you want to go into business does not mean you should cut corners. No, that will not work. It can work momentarily, but in the long run, you will run into trouble. So follow the correct way to do business. And if I'm in your shoes, attach yourself to an established business in that area. Learn from how they have been doing it. There will always be something for you to learn. If you're lucky, you could get somebody who will mentor you. It's just a matter of going around. It doesn't have to be somebody you knew before. Continue to look around and search for information. Look for companies that are already in the business, who are ready to make you an apprentice if need be. Otherwise, you plug yourself into knowledge of the business. The internet has made things very easy for us now. You have a lot of access to different things you can train on the internet, from soap making to tailoring to mechanical work, etc., etc. An average human being is intelligent enough to turn his or her brain around, but sometimes you don't use a reasonable percentage of that brain because some things are bogging you down and making you to feel you don't know how to do it. You have to imbibe the can-do spirit. I can do it. And once you believe you can do it, you can always do it. Yeah, raising money could be a problem, but once you begin to move on, things will begin to fall in place. Some people have gone through loan facility to run their own business. Some people have started from nothing. We have seen people who started pushing truck and had fleet of vehicles as motorists. We have seen people who started being an apprentice somewhere and they succeeded so much in all areas. So what it means is that you must be able to humble yourself, believe that you are ready to take some risk, believe that you are ready to humble yourself so that you can learn a new thing and succeed. But that's not going to be very easy anyway. You will always be discouraged by one thing or the other. But you should be able to define what you want to do. You must be able to identify an area where you can flourish. Research will help you. You must move around to find out. Discussing with people will help you. Interacting with people will help you. Gathering experience from people will help you. Reading books will help you. Doing market survey will help you. We don't have a completely new product in the world. Most of the products in the world are recycled to look new. Yes, in the olden days we were moving around with horses and bicycles. Today we move around with very fast aeroplane. And we don't know what will happen tomorrow. The aeroplanes are getting faster than each other. Today you have people having private jets, which was not there in the olden days. Foods are changing. Today in the houses you have microwave, you have gas cooker, You have different electronics that help you prepare good food. The television we use in the olden days is not what we are using today. The phones we use in the olden days is not what we are using today. So every time people are coming up with new products, you can also come with something new. Today, people don't buy granite directly from the farm again. They buy them already polished, ready to be eaten, packaged very well. A little bit more expensive, a little bit more convenient for people. And people are ready to exchange their money for it. And so many other products like that. Some cars comes like aeroplane. And when you are in them, you can never imagine that cars could be like that. That was not what cars were 100 years ago. So people are researching every day to come up with a little innovation. Small chips make people billionaires. Small microchips in microchips in electronic make people to have a lot of money. People created all sorts of products. People created all sorts of network products on the internet, for instance. We cannot all do that. But there are sectors that you cannot miss. You cannot miss in agriculture. You cannot miss in retail business. And you have to be able to tell yourself that if you cannot flourish in electronic, you can flourish in food production. So you must define a business you want to do. Have a product in mind that this is what I want to produce. And also, you must define how you want to start. How do I start? Who will encourage me? How do I raise money? Look at your environment very well. Imagine the scale you are going to start. You could target 100,000 bottles of a particular product, but you must start from one. And you can move from 1 to 1 million. But you have to start. A journey of 1,000 kilometers will start with a step. And you must be able to come up in your own way with a study. When you have some money, you probably will do some feasibility studies. They don't come cheap, but you should be able to know where your business is going. We have theorists in business who believe that you must theorize. You say, if you start this, you can be this, and you can be all of this. Yes, those are sweet talk, but you must practicalize what you have predicted. You must come up with practical projections, not just theoretical projections and doing nothing. From year to year, you discover that some people run business with their mouth. At the end of the year, they will tell you, next year I will do it. Oh, next year I will do better. Oh, when I retire, I will start something. And they never will have started something. We live on income. We live to make money. And when people are not making money, it becomes a sad thing. And that's why you see people taking the wrong route. But I discover also there's so much money to be made from any environment. Africa, for instance, is a virgin land where you have many things being imported from abroad that we can locally produce here. And we don't want to. When, in the olden days, people were doing very well in agriculture, for instance. And at the point that office work, messenger work, etc., came in from offices, people started leaving viable agriculture to go and be messengers and earn little money because they know it is certain they will earn it. But they use their time to serve people, their productive age, and by the time they are not as capable again, they ask them to go, and they have grown nothing. I have seen people who work in what you call big places and always claim that money is not enough for them. Money can never be enough. Now, but if you run a business, you can always create a way where you will double your money or triple it or more. You're not a money doubler, but business can explode. That you will not imagine what it will explode to, you may not be able to imagine that. You have to choose the right people to work with. Don't work with the wrong people. If you work with people who will discourage you, you cannot succeed. Some people are envious of you before you started. Some people believe that everything in life is impossible. Even what is possible is impossible. Even what to them is certainly possible is impossible. And they will discourage you. Some people don't have your ability to start, and they won't allow you to start. You have to be around people who are confident, who can encourage you, who are good people, not people who will bog you down with petty talks. We have time wasters. Sometimes we have time wasters around you. And the time wasters are such that what they will do is just waste your time. Every time you want to come up with a productive idea, they waste your time. And those cannot help you. Time waits for nobody. You can't start counting the month from day one. And by the time it is 30 or 31, it is the end of the month. So you're asking yourself, what have you done for the month? If you're a prospective entrepreneur, have you done anything for the month? So there's no way you will work for 30 days of the month without achieving a result. Well, situations sometimes make it difficult, but that should not be forever thing. Because most times as an entrepreneur, you wake up discouraged because you are solving a problem. There's always a problem to solve every day. And if there's a problem to solve every day, then you are bogged down. But you should believe that you're solving a problem every day is what you are made to do. So problems are afraid of you. So because they know you will deal with them. So you should not be afraid of problems. What problems will do for you is to say, okay, fine, this person is going to solve me. So what it means is that you are the master of this, you are the solution to the problem. Don't ever be discouraged. When you have a vision, you write it down if you can write. If you cannot write it down, you try and document it. You can speak it. You can share it. This is how I want to move in this business I am doing. Get to work with the right set of people, not people who are there to frit away your resources. Formulate where you are going. This is where I'm starting from. Where am I going to? You should be able to come with that. Then form a timetable. When am I going to start? At what level am I going to start? You don't have to start at the biggest level, always. There's always something great in humble beginning. So you should start humble, start small, then you can grow. And we have been told that people who have started very small, they grow big. And if you know that, then you should take an example, a clue from that. So don't be carried away with what you see around people, with people around you doing. You started a business without a car, one day you'll buy a car. You started a business without a proper office, one day you'll have an office. You started a business without good cash, one day you'll have enough cash to move around. The bottom line is that you should refuse to be discouraged. You should know that you are in this thing to succeed, and don't get discouraged at all.